The top stories for the hour. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed reaffirms pledge to strengthen democratic governance in Ethiopia. And African Union's Strategic Planning Director stresses push for middle-income growth across member states. Hello and welcome to TVC World, the voice of Pan-Africanism. It's me, Makrela. See you with the day's update. Do stay with us. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed was reaffirmed his government commitment to strengthen democratic governance in Ethiopia. In a message shared on his social media platform, the Prime Minister reflected on the 2018 decision to open up Ethiopia's political space, calling it a turning point towards inclusivity and peaceful political contestation. He highlighted ongoing efforts to engage political parties through platforms facilitated by the National Electoral Board, allowing for regular dialogue and input on key national issues. Today's consultation with political parties follows a series of recent meetings with various stakeholder groups, including the business community, educators, and artists. The Prime Minister says these engagements are part of a broader push to institutionalize peaceful political dialogue and build inclusive governance across the country. Ethiopian Ambassador, Plenipotentiary and Extraordinaire to the United States, Binalf Andualam, held his meeting with Donald Trump at the White House. He received a formal diplomatic welcome, which reflects the long-standing relationship between Ethiopia and the United States. The meeting marks the beginning of many future discussions, according to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The potential for a stronger partnership in the areas of peace, security, and economic cooperation between the two countries is limitless. Ethiopia and the United States have enjoyed a robust relationship that spans over 120 years, it was learned. Ethiopia took part in the 15th BRICS Health Ministers meeting held in Brasilia, Brazil. At the meeting, Ethiopian Ambassador to Brazil, Olusegun Tadesse, highlighted the urgent need to build resilient global health system to better respond to pandemics and emerging disease. He reaffirmed Ethiopia's strong commitment to Sustainable Development Goal 3, with a particular focus on achieving universal health coverage for all citizens. The ambassador also called on BRICS nations to strengthen cooperation through capacity building, sharing knowledge, and transferring technology. The meeting ended with a joint declaration in which the BRICS countries renewed their commitment to the global health resilience and pledged to work closely with the World Health Organization, according to the Ethiopian Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The African Union Agenda 2063 is Africa's blueprint and master plan for transforming Africa into a global powerhouse of the future. In the continent's strategic framework that aims to deliver on its goal for inclusive and sustainable development, and in a concrete manifestation of the Pan-African driven for unity, self-determination, freedom, progress, and collective prosperity pursued under Pan-Africanism and African resilience. Speaking to EBC World, Director of AU Strategic Planning and Delivery, Kabaongo Bayonji, says that with regarding to realizing the African transformation, each AU member state needs to exert more effort to reach middle-income countries. Tegester Nessa reports.
The African Union's Agenda 2063 is the Union's blueprint for the continent's transformation, presents both significant opportunities and challenges for Africa's development. It envisions a prosperous, integrated, peaceful, and globally influential Africa by 2063. Approached by EPC World Director for AU Strategic Planning and Delivery, Botho Kababoniye Bayendi, reflecting on the opportunities and challenges of AU's Agenda 2063, she has reiterated financing and the shocks that experienced affected the target to reach.
The main challenges that, according to the evaluation of the first 10 years, that affected the success could include financing, and also could include the shocks that we experienced that affected our ability to deliver on our targets. We also have coordination challenges to say that how do we confirm or emphasize to our member states that the performance of the agenda really rests on the implementation of their national development plans, which we believe should be aligned to both Agenda 2063 and the UN SDGs. So the aspects of monitoring and evaluation and measurement actually are part of, if not done well, the issues that affect our ability to express the performance of the agenda.
With regard to realizing the African transformation, Bayendi Ferzer has highlighted that for each member state to reach a middle-income country, more efforts need to be put in place.
Part of the results from the first 10-year evaluation was that the agenda is as relevant as at evaluation time in 2023 as it was at inception in 2013. So in terms of relevance, it's very clear. And in terms of its importance in driving Africa's transformation, it is very clear. If we recall well, it is mapped around 7 aspirations, which in the second decade, we have ignited energy on them to call them moonshots. And moonshooting is basically to say that let's go an extra mile in speed and force, to say that we have not achieved all the first 10-year results, and we need to be radical about the second decade. For instance, Moonshot 1, where the aspiration is around prosperity, we are saying every African country must be at least at middle income. These are radical and bold steps that we need to take for the transformation we want to be realized.
The director went on indicating that the agenda envisions a politically and financially united Africa, but multiple challenges encountered has taken away from reaching target. But in terms of industrialization in AFCFTA, a lot has been achieved.
Yes, like I talked to Moonshot 1, which talks about prosperity. You'd find the other moonshots, like Moonshot 3, which has to guarantee us a safe Africa, which means that more so we see a lot of political instabilities. It is taking away from the performance that we so much look towards to. And in terms of economic transformation, Moonshot 1 has not been performing, but we are talking about industrialization, we are talking about AFCFTA also leading us to integration, which would globally position Africa and make our internal trade better off as the global landscape is changing against that.
Dubbed Agenda 2063, crafted by the AU, is expected to be the pathway for addressing the challenges found in Africa's new opportunities towards its sustainable growth.
The African Evaluation Association, AFREA, President Miche Ouedraogo has recognized Ethiopia as one of Africa's exemplary countries in implementing policy evaluation. Speaking through the Ethiopian News Agency during the AFREA's 25th anniversary held this week in Addis Ababa, Ouedraogo commended Ethiopia's efforts in effectively implementing policy evaluation practice, highlighting the country's commitment to evidence-based policymaking. Jerusalem Betzaha has more from the Ethiopian News Agency.
This Monday, the African Evaluation Association marked its 25th anniversary with a celebratory event in Addis Ababa, highlighting a major milestone in its ongoing mission to strengthen evaluation capacity, foster knowledge exchange, and promote evidence-based policymaking across the continent. Opening the celebration, Ethiopia's Minister of Planning and Development, Fitsum Asefa, reaffirmed the country's strong commitment to enhancing its evaluation ecosystem. She emphasized that robust monitoring and evaluation systems are essential for effectively tracking development progress and making timely policy adjustments. In an exclusive interview with the Ethiopian News Agency, African Evaluation Association President Mike Ouedraogo commended Ethiopia's strides in policy evaluation.
Ethiopia is doing well in terms of implementing the evaluation. Ethiopia is one of the countries in Africa who is very exemplary in the way they are implementing policy evaluation in the country. And this is some of the reasons why we are here to celebrate with them our 25th anniversary.
Ouedraogo stressed the importance of aligning evaluation efforts with Africa's development priorities. He called for Africa-led evaluation systems strengthened by digital tools and data-driven approach to better inform strategies and decision-making on the continent.
For any policy we want to make, or any initiative or strategic development initiative we have on the ground here in Africa, is necessary, it's a must that we should have the evidence and the data that is coming with it to make sure all policy are evidence-based, and we write the policy, we design them using the evidence that will provide the result that we are expecting for. So without evaluation, it's difficult to get that evidence that is coming with. This is why it's important for African countries to advocate, but also to put in place actions to strengthen their national evaluation system to make sure they provide evidence for any policy that is implementing or any action of development plan that is implementing on the ground.
This year's anniversary is being celebrated under the theme celebrating 25 years of excellence in Africa-rooted evaluation, building a stronger future together. The event serves as a platform to reflect on African Evaluation Association's achievements and to chart the path forward for evaluation in Africa.
That's all we had for today's update, but before I go, let's have a recap of the top stories once again. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed reaffirms pledge to strengthen democratic governance in Ethiopia. And African Union Strategic Planning Director stresses push for middle-income growth across member states. Thank you for tuning into EBC World, the voice of Pan-Africanism. It was me, Okdalai, with today's updates. Goodbye.